Hello everybody, I'm back. I was sick for quite some time right after I did my first video and introduced that I was going to be making these little gift cards. And so I couldn't get back into my craft room to even get started. But anyway, I was able to finally get in here today. And so I created this little gift card and I based it on this larger card that I had made and I showed you in the first video. I really liked all the colors and I liked the foil paper, so I wanted to make a gift card in a similar design. So this is what I came up with and I'm going to show you how I do it. But anyway, so that you know the measurements, the little card bases that I bought at the store, I showed you the package that I bought. These actually measure 2 7/8 inch by 2 7/8 inch. So unfortunately they're not a perfect 3-inch square, which, you know, we like using perfect measurements, nice even numbers, and so that's no fun that it's not perfect. So that meant a little bit of creative cutting. The black mat that I have cut to use on the card, I cut these at 2 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches. So when I go to glue this down, it's going to have a very narrow white border around the edge. Okay, so again, those are 2 3/4 inch cuts, square. Then the foil paper, I'm going to show you, I'm going to be cutting the foil paper at 2.5 inches by 2 1/8 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and get started cutting the foil paper. Now this foil paper is quite large and I don't need a whole lot of it, so I'm just going to cut a strip. I'm going to go with the 2.5 inch first is what I'm going to cut. So here's my 2 inch. This bold line here is my 2.5 inch. So I know that when I line it up there, that I'm going to have a nice 2.5 inch cut. So I'm going to cut that, pull that away. So there's my 2.5 inch cut. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to cut 2 1/8 inch. So here's my 2 1/8 inch is this little mark right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's this mark right here. So there's 2 1/8. And I'm going to go ahead and cut couple of those so I can finish making the rest of my cards. Maybe one more, 2 1/8. Okay. So I've got some foil pieces ready to go. This is what it's going to look like when it's on the black mat. So here's my mat, here's my foil, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. So I love this glitter glue. Anyway, yeah, I've been kind of sick with that cold that's been going around here. It started out just like a cold, like your sinuses and all that crap, but then it went on down into my chest, and that was no fun. And I didn't have a voice for a good 3 days, so I couldn't go to school and teach my children because they wouldn't have been able to hear me. So yeah, I had laryngitis really good for about 3 days, and then it slowly started coming back. But I also had a really bad cough, because like I said, it had gone down and into my chest. So anyway, that's that's how I put the foil paper on my black base. The next thing I'm going to do is cut this glitter paper at a 1/2 inch strip. So I'm going to get my glitter paper and 1/2 inch. Here's 1 inch. There's a 1/2 inch. So 1 inch, 1/2 inch. Whoop. But anyway, I'm feeling much better. I've been back to school for a full week. But unfortunately, right after I got sick, my husband got sick. So he was sick most all last week, and then my sister-in-law got sick, and now my brother is sick. So anyway, I'm going to glue this onto here, just like that. But anyway, I really, really love how this turned out. I'm real thrilled with it. Actually, while I was sick, I had been contemplating this card because I knew I had to get in here and make it, since I promised everybody in the first video that that's what I was going to do. So I had lots of time to think about how did I want to make it, because I knew that I'd be making it different from the original card, the big one, since it's on such a much smaller scale. So I really was debating it and thinking about it for a long time, and then I finally came up with this. So anyway, I glued that on there, and now I'm just going to turn it over and cut the extra off on both sides with my scissors. And you can tell there's a little band of black right there. I'm going to cut that off as well. It also looks like my trimmer probably needs a new blade because it left some fuzzy stuff, fuzzy stuff on the end of that glitter paper. And so if you snip off the end, that takes care of that too. So I love it. So there's that. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is put my Merry Christmas sentiment on the red paper. So I've got some already cut out. And here's one of them that's ready to go. But I'm going to trim it up really close to the wording, since this is a very small card. I want this part of the card to also be small and not take up so much of the space of the card. So I just eyeball it. You can be really, really, really careful and precise and use your trimmer, your cutter for that, but you don't have to. You can just do what I just did. All right, so now I'm going to need some of my red paper. As you can see, I mounted the Merry Christmas on some just plain red paper. So I've got my paper here, and I'll show you how I do it. I just take glue and put some glue on the back of this, like so. Always have to close that glue up because it dries so quickly, and I don't want it to dry up and then I can't get it out. So I always put that stainless steel pin back in right after I use it, just to make sure. Okay, so that's on there like that. And then I am going to put this in my cutter or cropper, or whatever. People call it a cropper, people call it a cutter. I just cut it. I call it my cutter. Just kind of line it up. What I'm doing is there's a wire here that the blade runs along, so I know that's where the blade's going to cut, so I can see where it is on my paper and be really exact with my cut. Okay, like that. I like it. Okay. Small card, small sentiment. So I'm just going to eyeball it here, and I think I want to cut it right around there, right around here somewhere. So I'm just going to snip that off. And now I'm going to make my little, make it look like a little banner. So you just find the middle, eyeball it, find the middle, make a cut there. That shows me where my center is. Now I'm going to line up my scissors from this corner to the very tip of where I just cut. So the corner to the tip of my first cut, and from this corner to the tip, again to the center. And there you go, just like that. Okay, so I've got my little Merry Christmas. That's ready to go on there. But I think the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and tie my ribbon. I decided to use this thinner ribbon for the small card instead of this larger, thicker gauzy ribbon. I really love it on this card, but I think it's too big and too thick to put on the smaller card. That's just my taste. So I'm going to use this smaller ribbon. And I like the way it turned out on the one that I did earlier. So what I do is I just want to kind of eyeball and judge how much ribbon I want to cut off. I have arthritis in my fingers, so I need to give myself plenty of ribbon to work with to make my bow. It's kind of hard to make tiny bows and work with tiny things with the arthritis, but it's okay because I can still do it. I can still play in my craft room, and I can still do the things that I'm really loving doing. So now you just tie a bow, just like you would your child's shoes or your shoes. Whoops. Like I said, it's a little more difficult. All right. So now see how big and goofy it is. So now I just have to work with it, pull the ends down, and make it smaller that way, till I get it to where I want it. All right, it's good enough for me. And I think that whoever receives this with their gift will also like it. So there's my little bow. And here's my Merry Christmas. It's funny because when you look at this one, the bow's kind of facing a different direction than this one. But you know what? I love it. I don't care. I think it's beautiful. I like it. So now I'm just going to glue this down. And I hope that watching this video has motivated you to get some of your paper out, or maybe even go to the store and buy some fun paper. Get some glue, get your scissors, and start paper crafting. It's fun, it's calming, keeps your mind busy. So there's that. And one more thing for the front, a little gem. So, get my needle nose pliers. I started using needle nose pliers when I was making earrings a lot, to bend wire when I was making jewelry. But I found that it comes in very handy for doing these gems and working with the gems. So there you go. You use what you have. Okay, And there it is. Merry Christmas. And now I just need to put it on my little card base. And I will just glue it right like that. Oh, I love it. I hope you like it too. And again, I hope that watching the video has really given you some motivation to get your paper out and your scissors and your glue and start making some cards or Christmas cards or birthday cards, whatever, and start having fun. You don't have to have a fancy craft room. You don't even have to have the fancy cutters. Just get in there and start playing. And I think you'll find that you're going to have a wonderful time. Just push this down on there. And you'll make some beautiful creations that people are going to really love and enjoy receiving. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my card making tutorials or other papercraft tutorials, then please subscribe to my channel as well. So I hope that you and yours have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and have lots and lots of fun doing some paper crafting. So until the next time, again, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you again. Bye.